naked sun of what to think or when to pray.
You may know us as the Watchers, and we're watching over you. You may find the game is ancient. You might think the game is new. We come from different realms, and we are not all the same. You may know us as the Watchers, but we have our own end game.
Some came with high vibrations to straighten out a mess. Some came for domination in a cosmic game of chess. The final chapter's being written and the dice are being tossed. The game will come unbidden when the game is won or lost.
You may know us as the Watchers, and we're watching over you. You may find the game is ancient. You might think the game is new. We come from different realms, and we are not all the same. You may know us as the Watchers, but we have our own end game.
Stakes are at their highest, but the die has not been cast. Two cosmic fleets of destiny, each fight to be the last. When your captain sails on riptides and angels fear to tread, the waves collide like thunder on an endless sea of dread.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with our host, Gary Anderson.
That is me. Well, we're talking cryptids here tonight with Paul Roberts, James, and Paul. Are you still there?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, now we were going to get back into cryptids. What, before I had to cut you off before the break for the radio stations, what do you have for us next?
Okay. Actually, I have several things, and I know we're short on time, so I'm going to try to run down some of the things that I've experienced or I've heard other people experience. But the Napa Rebobs, okay, and you can Google that, but that's a very famous legend in Napa Valley. Supposedly, a long time ago, like the 1920s, 1930s, there was a mad scientist, and he was experimenting with animals. And if you ever saw Wizard of Oz, the flying monkeys, that's what he created. And they're called the Napa Rebobs. You can, definitely Google that. But recently, with the Napa Rebobs, there's been another cryptid that's been hanging out in Napa, and it's called Chuck Chuck. And it actually says Chuck Chuck. It's one of its noises that it makes, and it sounds like it says Chuck Chuck. And it has the face of a bird, and it has the body of an ape. So basically, that's what it looks like. It has a body of an ape, like a Bigfoot maybe, and a head of a bird, and it's called the Chuck Chuck. And the Chuck Chuck hangs out with the Napa Rebobs. So I got a few reports on that. I got a report on the wet lash, and that's, again, in the Sacramento River, and it's a water elemental. So this one guy, he contacted me, and he claims he was out there fishing, and he saw what looked like a water elemental. It was like a little humanoid, but it was made of water, and it was actually wearing some kind of clothes, but again, made of water. He could see right through it. So, and I got one report of that. Oh, and then that TV show on the History Channel, I can't think of the title of it. I don't know. It's on the History Channel, and it was a Mothman sighting on the Tower Bridge in at the Sacramento River. A photographer, and you can again Google this. It's on there, but this gentleman, a photographer, was taking pictures, and he saw something on top of this tower. And he said what he described was a Mothman. And two other people claimed that they saw a Mothman at the Sacramento River Bridge. And the Mothman, the original Mothman, he was like a harbinger of doom. Well, nothing bad happened here in Sacramento, but that's what they claim. They claim that they saw Mothman. And then you're talking about the sewer system here in Sacramento, if there was any reptilians. In Natomas, they have what's called the Natomas blob. And a couple witnesses actually saw this creature that looked like a blob. It was like jello. And as they washed it, it crawled into the storm system, and it disappeared. So those are just some of the stories that I hear about in Northern California. But then I get other calls like the Uruguay tusk devil.
Now, can you describe?
Have you ever heard of that one?
No, can you describe what is it?
Gary?
Yeah, can you describe what it is, what it looks like, and all that?
Oh, say that again, Gary. I'm sorry.
Can you describe how big it is, what it looks like?
Oh, the Uruguay tusk devil?
Yes. Huh?
Okay. Well, I actually communicated with a guy named Rodrigo, and he was from Colonial del Sacramento in Uruguay. And he's all into ghost hunting and everything, and one of his biggest heroes is Josh Gates. And you're talking about a cryptozoologist. Josh Gates is probably one of the best. But they have a report of this tusk devil. And this tusk devil, it moves like a big ape with knuckles touching the ground. It has red fur, yellow sharp teeth, yellow tusks coming out of the side of its head. And it has dark, sunken black holes for eyes, a pig snout, and top of its head, it has hair that goes straight up like a mohawk. Well, they went out there. He went out there with a lady named Julieta, and they were trying to summon the tusk devil. And I guess they got lucky, but because they said that that's exactly what they saw. And the girls that were with Rodrigo, they heard growls of this tusk devil. And they actually saw the creature, and it chased them. While doing some research, they said that the Charawa tribe, I'm probably not even pronouncing that right, summoned this demon, this interdimensional demon that came from its reality to their reality back in the olden days. And it was for protection against the Portuguese. So this creature lives out in their woods, and it was something that was summoned by their Indians back a long time ago. and he says that it still exists, and that other people are reporting it. And they said that this thing actually jumped on his car, and as they were taking off, they saw a UFO. So is the UFO somehow connected to the Tusk Devil? Perhaps. It seems kind of funny that they would also too see a UFO. But Rodrigo swears up and down that him and his friends saw this creature, and it's called the Tusk Devil.
Now, Paul, sometimes I think that, when we see some of these, cryptids, and then there's a report, of UFOs by, sometimes I wonder if they're aliens and what they're doing is blocking what they actually are, and imposing an image into that person's brain, not to, not to let them know that there is aliens, but, scare them off with some type of cryptic, some type of monster type of thing.
Or could it possibly be a tulpa? A case example, author and magician Walter B. Gibson, he's the one who created the character called the Shadow. Only the Shadow knows. You know that character, right?
Oh, yeah. Only the Shadow. Okay. Yes, I know.
Well, in his home, his friends and family were seeing the Shadow. He was wearing this brim hat, he had a long nose, he had a red scarf over his mouth, black trench coat, and the people were telling Walter, they said, Walter, we're seeing this guy, and he just fades into nothingness. Well, they were and then Walter was saying, well, describe what you're seeing, this ghost. And they just started describing it, and he goes, oh my God, that's my character, the Shadow. This is something I created. But what was happening was Walter was thinking of it so much in his mind that he actually made it manifest from the energy of his brain waves, and this tulpa looks like his character that he always thinks about. So I'm wondering that maybe that Julieta and Rodrigo, when they were summoning the Tusk Devil, they were thinking about it so hard that it actually appeared. And it became a living creature because of the energy from their mind.
Interesting.
That is. Yeah, I was just going to say, he was talking about that other thing on the Sacramento Bridge, and we've touched on before with the magnetic shifts and stuff. I'm thinking a lot of these sightings may just be, cranes or other birds that have come into areas they've never been into before, and people have never seen them in their areas before. And another thing, too bad that what you described there, that thing with the tusk landing on the car, they didn't get DNA or something. But, I mean, what do you think about misidentification on a lot of this stuff, Paul?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, like the Mothman seen at the Tower Bridge, it was suggested that they saw a bighorn owl. So that's a possibility, and a lot of those owls are huge. So
they are huge, along with these cranes.
They had a police artist, and so the witness to it, by the time the artist, this police artist did the drawing of it, I mean, it looked like Mothman. But, yeah, but it very well could be a bighorn owl.
Absolutely. And another thing, there's been a lot of humanoid Mothman-type sightings all across the country, through Wisconsin, Michigan, and even out there where you're living. And I'm wondering if maybe those other things you were talking about in Napa Valley might be something along those lines, or even a misidentification. And another thing with these things, you speak of harbinger of doom, but again, there's no claim to follow up with that. I don't know if there's cryptids we haven't discovered. Maybe some of these things could be these thunderbirds. Have you had a lot of reports of the thunderbirds in those areas too?
No, I haven't got any reports